Welcome to Orange County Power Players, where we spotlight the personal, professional, and financial success stories of OC's top leaders. Here's your host, Danny Flores.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Danny Flores with OC Power Players, and today we have Anuj Bhalla as our guest, zooming in from Irvine. He is the founder and CEO of ServiceMob. Prior to that, he led the Services Analytics and Strategy Group for Accenture. And before that, he served as the innovation lead for the internet and social media clients in Silicon Valley. Welcome, Anuj.
Hey, Danny, welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Thank you. And we want to basically share your story and how you got there for our audience. And my first question is, tell us a little bit about what you do and how long you've been doing it.
Yeah. So, quick introduction. My name is Anuj Bhalla. Currently, I'm the founder and CEO of ServiceMob. We serve the customer service industry. So think about whenever you have a problem, you have to call one of, let's say your cell phone company or your cable company or your healthcare company, right? You call the 1-800 number, you get the bot to do this, press 1, to do that, press 2, right? And you sit on hold for the next available agent. So we all go through customer service. That's the industry that we're supporting. What we're really doing is we're taking all the data. We're a data analytics company that's helping companies who run these large-scale customer service operations gain the insights necessary to provide better, faster, and stronger service. So what does that mean? Today, as you know, customer service is really not serving customers that well. I think whenever we talk about customer service, we all think, oh no, I gotta wait 2 hours, to get something done, or to, wait on the phone to get my problem solved. And that doesn't even matter what industry. It ranges from the government. Imagine calling the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles, all the way to, like I said, calling your cable company or insurance company. All of these experiences over time, there's been so much automation that has been tried to come into that process. Companies are always investing to try to, gain more efficiencies because it is one of the largest expenses for most businesses out there. And so at ServiceMob, what we're doing is we're taking all those phone calls, those chats, those emails, SMSs. Think of all the ways that consumers and businesses can interact, even the WhatsApp, the WeChats. I would even say, today you can TikTok your discontent to a company, right? So we take all that information and we spin that through our platform, to provide insights back to the operators so that they can, truly understand where are the places that are driving higher costs. Where are the places that are driving low customer satisfaction? Where are the places that are draining productivity? Those are all things that business operators have to take into account to, one, offer a good service to the customers that's timely, but two, also be effective at truly solving their issue as a company for that customer and on their behalf. So, that's what our platform does. It's really, I like to think of it as the brain for the world of customer service, is taking all that information and trying to help the organization be smarter.
So that's really great in being able to do that. And so how long have you been doing it? And how did you bridge the gap from your W-2 employee to becoming an entrepreneur?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I was a consultant, as you mentioned at the outset. I used to be with Accenture for a long time. I'm a data scientist by trade. So, I was part of the customer strategy group. So marketing, sales, service. I did that for a decade and a half, helping the companies really understand customers better than they understood themselves. By the data, that explosion of data and information that we've got. I think, when I was, toward the tail end of my time at Accenture, I started thinking about, wow, this is one of the biggest unsolved problems, in modern times. It's crazy because we think of space travel, climate, there's some big projects out there that we think about in the world. But I remember hearing something, from I think it was some folks at Tesla saying, hey, we could create longer range batteries, at SpaceX, we can, reuse rocket parts, and catch them in the air again, reuse them, launch them, and re-land them on the launch pad. But one of the hardest things we haven't solved over time is customer service.
Yeah.
So we're solving all these big problems, and there's always strides in every industry. But customer service, in some ways, has continued. If you look at the surveys, they ask CEOs, is customer service better today or 5 years ago, 5 years or 10 years ago? The further you go back, people actually have a greater perception of how service was delivered versus today. And this is despite all of the investment, all of the innovation, all of the chatbots, the natural language processing, the AI that's in this group. We essentially have spent so much money in customer service, but all it's doing is we're actually worse off for it in some weird way. We actually have a lesser perception of how good it is today than it was before we had a lot of these multi-billion-dollar investments. And so that says something. I think that says that's a big problem that needs to be addressed. I caught that, I started thinking about that problem, more deeply. I did my grad school at MIT, so post Accenture, I went to MIT as a Sloan Fellow. I was specifically interested in entrepreneurial problems, and I kept thinking about this issue of customer service and, how some of the biggest, most technologically forward organizations still couldn't solve this problem.
Right.
And that was the challenge I think I was willing to take. I was saying, hey, you know what? No one else is really touching this in the right way. How can we now insert ourselves into the conversation and help companies really do better with the data they have, so that people look at customer service as a reason to do business with the company, not a reason to move away from it or to spend money with a competitor, which is unfortunately a lot of what's happening today.
Right. So now, are you basically competing against the internal customer service groups that these companies may have? Or are they just seeking out your services altogether because it doesn't exist in the companies?
Yeah, it just, I think honestly, it doesn't exist. There's a mirage that says there's a lot of technology companies, great technology companies, multi-billion-dollar successful technology companies in the customer service space. I barely have to name them, but, Salesforce comes to mind, TalkDesk, Zendesk, Qualtrics, there's Medallia. All of these are multi-billion-dollar companies in the space. Intercom, these are great companies, and they've done amazing things in their part of the value chain. The problem, the inadvertent problem that these great companies have created, though, in aggregate, not any one of them, but if you're a customer service operator, you want best of breed of each one of these parts of the value chain. I want the best telephone platform. I want the best chat. I want the best survey engine. I want the best social media. I want the best speech analytics. You have to go to a lot of different vendors to get the best of the best. And that's what a lot of companies end up with. If you're a big company today, you easily have 15 to 30 systems that make your customer service work. So now the problem happens is that to see the end-to-end analytics, to see the entire customer experience end-to-end becomes a huge challenge, because it's like a jigsaw puzzle. Each one of those has the pieces of your experience, but no one company has the entire experience at all. And so, yes, companies say they do analytics for customer service, but the problem is they're only for that one part of the value chain they represent. Nobody out there until now, until ServiceMob, is really representing the end-to-end customer experience. And I think that's why we're very different than any other company that is out there. A lot of great companies out there, but no one is quite doing what we're doing.
So basically, you don't have much competition, sounds like.
Well, in a way, I'd say, I would never go out and say that, because there's always competition for time. There's always competition for dollars. There's always different ways to solve a problem. So I think, there could be competition. Sometimes it could be internally where people are trying to build their own systems and they get frustrated with how cumbersome it is. You build your own system from scratch, you have to maintain it, you have to update it. If you switch a system out today versus tomorrow, everything can break. So the maintenance, that total cost of ownership is so high to do it on your own. Part of what the value proposition we like to bring is, hey, we know how to do this. We don't know just how to do this at one company for one industry. We've done this for hundreds, dozens of different organizations or organization parcels, within service.
Right.
And as a result, we bring to bear knowledge that you can't get outside of the four walls of any one company, right? And that knowledge and expertise we embed into our product and service so that we can create the best possible, the most impactful value experience for our customers, right? And at the end of the day, it's all about value. If we're not creating value, we shouldn't be a business, right? So we want to be able to show people, hey, look, if you do this, if you subscribe to the way we bring together all this data together to see the end-to-end experience, and you look at the metrics and the KPIs there, you're going to see incredible, fantastic results, improvements to your bottom line, and we could back that up. And if we're not able to show that, I always tell my customers, don't pay me any money, because they shouldn't.
Yeah, that sounds so. What comes easy to you guys that you were able to put this together and see a hole in the industry?
Yeah, so here's where we became. This is what we do that's really different. And I'll try to explain this the best I can because we are an AI analytics company. We're, like I said, we're born out of MIT. So, we are really using some of the most cutting edge principles in analytics and what we call ontology today. But you've heard of a lot of these large language models, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Anthropic. Like there's a lot of large language models that have really overtaken the Gen AI landscape in the last few years. These are great answer engines. You can point it to a knowledge base. You can tune it even if you want to, and you could say, hey, look, answer questions that I have about whatever, and today the big use case is just, like Perplexity. It's like ChatGPT and Wikipedia had a baby, and you could answer any question about anything, whether it's the news, the weather, the world, philosophy. It doesn't matter, right?
Right.
Imagine, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to be experts on this thing called the customer experience. And one of the things we pioneered is this idea of large ontology models. That's just a fancy word for, let's say a large data model, but it's data model with a purpose. We try to, this idea, when we talk about customer experience, I think we all know, I think your listeners will all know kind of what that means. It's like, okay, what did we experience as a customer as we were working with the brand? That's a good abstract definition of the customer experience. But what really is the customer experience? What does it really mean? Can we teach a machine to understand what a customer experience is and what it looks like in our data? Right. And the same way I can ask a business, how much revenue did you have the month of February? That's a fact you can pull from the system. You can get an exact number, an exact dollar. How many transactions did I have last week? Or how many active customers are paying me right now? Those are facts that we can get from our system today. But if I was to ask a company, how many customer experiences did we have last Tuesday? A lot of times you hear silence, right? They're
Right.
like, wait a second, I kind of know what you mean, but I don't exactly know what you mean. How do you define customer experience? And by the way, that's the problem. Nobody knows how to define the customer experience in their data. And so it goes back to the old quote: how do we improve something we don't even know how to measure, let alone see in our information? How do you improve something you can't measure? It's very hard to do that. And so that's the problem we see with customer service today, is that we all want to improve the customer experience. Nobody really has a good idea of how to measure it until now. So at ServiceMob, we actually use our AI to define the customer experience in a way that the machine really understands. We use these large ontology models to actually put real concrete definition on this idea of the customer experience, so that now it's measurable, it's observable, it's actionable. It's now something you could hold people accountable to. You could incent compensation on it. Because if you do that, the metrics that we have at ServiceMob are unlike anything you can get on the market today. Our metrics have the cause-effect relationships that companies want out of their businesses. And what is that? We want to have customers that are satisfied. We want to have customers that are willing to recommend us to their friends and family. We want to have customers that have their problems resolved and know that when they have an issue, we're going to take care of them. We want to have customers that choose to stay with us and keep spending money with us over time. So think of retention and churn. And then we also want to do this at an optimal price point where our workforce is productively trying to drive those solutions to our end customers. And if our metrics have that cause-effect relationship with those bottom line measures. And that's why we can draw a very clear line between, again, what we measure through our platform and the bottom line performance of the company overall. And that's important because that's what drives shareholder value. That's what drives, that's going to improve productivity, retention, improve stock prices. It's going to improve valuations of companies. And at the end of the day, it should attract more customers to your business because they see how great you take care of your customers at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, thanks for all that information. It's very interesting how you do it. And you're making the customer number one, which I think is probably the key to your success.
100%. The customer is absolutely number one. And now, what we want to do is take that to the next level where we can now understand the anatomy of that experience, right? So when those customers have those experiences with us, we want them to be great. We want them to be memorable. We want them coming back for more. And so that whenever, they're thinking about the product or service they want next, they're going to say, whoa, Anuj's company took care of me. I'm going to choose to spend my money again with them. And that's how we feel about every product or service business we serve, to make them a real hero to their end customers. So they keep coming back, keep spending more money, and then really recommending them to others so that they can grow their businesses and truly expand.
Right. No, that's great. That's great. And that's probably why you've had so much success. Congratulations on that.
No, thank you. And it takes a lot, to make this real. And, no one person could do it on their own. Our team is wonderful. We have so many great people, from, my time at Accenture who followed us here at ServiceMob, but also, folks, amazing technological resources, amazing strategists that we've picked up along the way that are taking care of our customers today. And so, it's obviously a team effort to make that real, but we're excited because we're just getting started. There's so much more, we can do. And, every day in a way is day one to us in terms of where we can take this and where we can go from here to really add more value to our customers.
Yes, that's awesome. Now, quick question. There's other business owners such as yourselves also look for additional ways to generate income passively. What are your thoughts on that?
I think, it's important. If you're going to jump, you asked the question before about jumping from W-2 to on your own. And on your own is exactly what it sounds like. It's on your own. It's lonely. You have to plan for that the right way. And I think, when you're that founder, you're not doing this for the salary. That normal paycheck you're used to getting doesn't come in. So you have to be smart about investments. I think you have to be smart about, okay, how do we, the money you have or the little bit money you're paying yourself, especially in those early days, it's incredibly important that you're maximizing and stretching every dollar with the right investment. And to some people that, it could be investing in the market. I think if you've invested, even a few $100s in the top 6, tech companies over the last 5 years, you would have had like 800 turned into 80,000. I mean, there's some really good, and that's just playing the market, right? So, right. I think, there's some riskier, some not riskier. It's all about, everyone's situation. But I think, having that plan is important to make sure that, you are taken care of. If you have a family, they're taken care of. I did this a little bit later in life. So, I have a family too. I have 2 daughters. I have a wife, I have a mortgage, just like everybody else. So those are the kinds of things that, you have to plan for. And so you may not see that reward right away. So having good planning on how you stretch that dollar and invest it in the right way to get some income while you're, growing your business is incredibly important as well.
Right. No, I appreciate the feedback on that. And as we wrap up the interview, what does 2025 look like for you?
2025 is looking great. And, I think, it's a very fast moving evolution, especially in this world of artificial intelligence, AI. And I think, for us, it's about, still staying true. Customers, number one. Staying true to the fundamentals is always, never lose sight of that. But I think 2 is really, constantly listening to your customers. I think your customers are your best critic. They're the ones that are using your software all the time. They're going to tell you what's right, wrong, what they care about and don't care about. And so being able to have good feedback loop with your customers is incredibly important so that you can, really prioritize the things that you want to build next into the product that are going to add value. So I'm very excited about 2025. We have a lot of exciting partnerships where we've kicked off. We have a lot of exciting, new features that we're bringing to bear, via AI. And, with that, we think that, there's a tremendous amount of more value that we can deliver. And so we're very excited about it, and we're ready to gear up, get a little rest during the holidays. And then, January 2nd, we're ready to go again, for the new year.
Right. Exactly. Right. Hit the ground running in 2025. That's a great way to start off the year with a big bang. Well, Anuj, thanks so much for coming on and sharing your insights and your tips. If somebody who is watching the show wants to get a hold of you, how could they do that?
Yeah, reach out on LinkedIn. Mention that you saw us here on your podcast, and I'll make sure. And sometimes it takes me a little bit, but we'll make sure to get back to you. But send me a message there, or you can send an email to hello@servicemob.com, and you can reach us that way. Those do come to me. So I promise you, we do get back to, people who reach out to us, but definitely mention you saw us on the OC Power Players podcast for sure.
Appreciate that input, Anuj. And once again, thank you so much for coming on board.
Thank you, Danny. This has been great, and really fun to do this. And if we don't talk before then, have a great Christmas and a happy New Year. And we'll look forward to an awesome 2025.
Same to you. Thank you so much.
All right. Take it easy. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Orange County Power Players. Want to share your success story? Apply to be a guest at ocpowerplayers.com/guest.